welcome to the Southern Stew Podcast, everybody. My name is Gina, and with me is Melissa, Cynthia, and our neighbor. And today's topic, we're going to be...
I just killed a stink bug, and no freaking wonder they call them stink bugs.
It's so random.
Oh, her God.
I just want Debbie to tell her story. I just hope she can recreate it from when she told it to me before. She was terrible in school. She was a bad girl. And it's just so funny of a story that
she's dying over there. Okay, real quick before Debbie starts telling this story, and while she is trying to get rid of the stank in her room, we do have a Patreon now. Please follow us there. Join our membership. We will be uploading spoofs and outtakes. If you want to see a little bit behind the scenes, get involved with future production, please join our Patreon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Debbie, start us off. She wants to hear the story about Mr. Sam's.
Okay. I've done a lot of crazy stuff in school. And when you're a teenager and you, at least for me, if you dared me to do something, I'd do it or die. Well, when I was in 6th grade, bunch of friends was in gym or whatever. And they dared me to snatch the wig off of the our 6th grade teacher. And me being who I was, toupee, whatever, wig, same things. Potato. And but anyway, he wore one and he really treasured the thing. Well, everybody adored me to snatch it, and I had to do it. So I mean, it was what it was. So I decided to stay beside the pencil sharpener and wait for him to enter the room. And I stayed beside beside the pencil sharpener. And everybody's like, oh, he's coming. And then I was like, okay. So when Susie walked in the door, because he was a fairly tall dude, I don't know, 6'2", maybe, 6'3". That's tall because I'm only 5'4". So I jumped up and I snatched it off his head. And then I took off running. And then he just looks at me, and he instantly turns red. I'm scarlet, purple, maybe it's more like a this color. And then he looked at me, and then so I took off running because I knew at this morning everybody in the classroom was like, "Yeah, she did it!" And I took off running.
This is back when they paddled you. You got a paddling in school for being.
Oh yeah, like he always carried this wooden paddle. And it was like...
It looks like a cutting board or a charcuterie board with a handle.
It looked like a charcuterie board. Not scotch tape, but paper tape. He had that wrapped around it. Ooh. And he jerks out the paddle. I'm in the corner of the room. He jerks out the paddle and he hits his desk. Well, he breaks the desk. Like the desk goes like that. Like it just breaks right in the middle. And he looked at me and he says, "You're mine." And I was like, "Oh, I'm dead meat. I'm dead." So I took off and I'll go around so he couldn't grab me because back then they just snatch you up. Well, I go around him and I go toward the door and I see he's coming at me and he's wanting to beat me down. And then I go out the door, and when I go out the door, he slams the door so hard that the glass broke in the door. And I was like, well, if I don't get away, I'm in so much trouble. And then so I take off running. I go to Mr. Jones, which was the principal at the time. I go in there and I said, "You got to help me. You got to help me. You got to help me." I said, you got to save me. And he's like, "What did you do this time, Davey?" And I was like, "Well, he's coming. And I'll tell you later. Just please don't let him get me." And then he's like, "Shh, get over here behind the desk." So I go over behind the desk, and here he comes, and I'll get him the door. He's got that pattern. He said, "Yeah." And I was like, "No." what to do. If I went out that door, I was a had lad, you know. I was standing there, and Mr. Jones looked at me, and he's like, Mr. Sands, I got this. And he's like, no, she's mine. She is mine. You don't understand. This is my day. She's coming out. And I just looked at him. Like, you please don't. You don't throw me to the wolves, you know. And then so needless to say, he was like, no, he said, I've got this taken care of. He said, you all go on back to your room. And I was like, and then no, but Mr. C was in there, and they was standing there, and they was arguing kind of back and forth because he really wanted to paddle me. He really wanted to paddle me. But then he convinced him that he was going to take care of that and paddle me himself. And so that being said, he goes back to his room and, you know, licking his wounds and holding his toupee in his hand. He was dying to get a hold of me, and the principal was trying not to laugh and was trying to be professional and was trying to take it serious, but he, at the same time, it was hard for him to control that. And then so here's about, I've got this, you know, I'm gonna whip her, you know, it's took care of. So, but he goes out and he just busts out laughing, and he looks at me and he says, you was not crazy enough to actually do that. Yeah. He said, I have been here for a long time, and there's been a many of people that's been dared to do what you just did. And I didn't think that there'd be anybody crazy enough to actually do it. I said, well, you just met her. And then he said, I can't let you go back to that room, because if you go back to that room, he'll hurt you. I was like, I know, you cannot let me go back to that room. So I sit in there in the office, and every time he went and told all the teachers, and everybody would make passerby would come in the office and go, did you really snatch it off his head? And I was like, yeah, I did. So, that was like the story for a while that I did that. And
normally that would be a boy to do something like that, not a girl.
He had his temper.
You heard him.
He just slammed me all over that room like a rag doll after that. And I came back to class. He grabbed a hold of me in my desk, and he'd always say this. He'd say, you know, you ain't going to amount to nothing but a lost ball and a high weed. You might as well join the Mickey Mouse Club.
Okay.
I told him I was joining the Mickey Mouse Club.
You had a death wish, didn't you?
No, and I had to write for a solid month, like paragraphs after paragraph, and I didn't care. I didn't care for what he did, and for meanness, because I was so mean. That man couldn't stand me, and it felt kind of mutual. And we'd be on the playground. We was playing kickball, and I kicked that ball so hard one time it hit him in the back of the head. And he was like,
You know, it's so funny.
I know that was you.
Is that right after you and Stephanie had his class, they were trying to put me in his class. He wouldn't take me. He refused to take me in his class because of you guys.
I could see that.
I got lucky. I didn't have him.
So, Melissa, tell us about a time when you were in school.
I was always really quiet in school. I only got in trouble one time, and I think it was third grade. I had a teacher. She let us watch, I do not know why she did this, but she would play The Price is Right. I guess she could watch her show during school. And I never forget that there was a couple boys that sat around me, and I didn't know how to whistle. I had no clue how to whistle. I was in third grade. But anyway, I had a little boy. He would whistle at the models on the show. And Miss Early she would get really mad. She's like, I don't know who's doing that. And they pointed at me. I was like, and then I started crying because I was like, I don't know how. I don't know how to do that. And that was my first ever paddling in school, and it was the only paddling I ever got. But I was like, for whistling at a woman?
Oh, she was such a good girl.
Yeah. I didn't.
You should have been mean.
I should have been. I
What
should have
about in
been.
high school?
I only got in trouble because I didn't want to go. I hated school. I hated it.
You didn't.
Only because I struggled so bad in school that I didn't want to be there because I was so embarrassed. Because they never offered to me. Now looking at it as an adult, they never offered to even try to help. They knew how bad I was suffering in school, and they never even offered to help. And I had to, and I think I had a form of either dyslexia like Debbie, because Debbie has it, and I didn't know it at the time because it it was bad, and I just did not want to be there, and I absolutely hated it. So the only trouble I got into, I just didn't go to school because I didn't want to be there. I never forget that one time I laid out of school in high school, and our aunt lived a couple blocks from the high school, and she's like, yeah, you do my dishes and I won't tell on you. And I'm like, okay. So she had a moped, and I'll never forget, I drove by this high school, beep beep, I waved it at my friends through the window. That's the only thing I did, though. I didn't do anything. I just
Gosh,
didn't
I
want
was
to be there.
terrible then. No wonder my parent or our parents thought I was the devil because I was horrible in school. I was absolutely horrible.
Am I
That's
the
why she
only
was
one that got sent
sneaky.
off?
That's the reason why she was suspicious.
What'd you say, Cynthia?
Apparently, I'm the only one that got sent off. I caught the girls' bathroom on fire in
That's
elementary school.
hilarious. I remember that.
What?
I
Yeah.
remember
I
that.
didn't know that.
Okay, so I hung out with the bad kids because I got picked on a lot because of my glasses. So the bad kids decided to take me under their wing because the preppy kids kept picking on me. So they were smoking at recess, and this is in 8th grade because I didn't have middle school. And they're like, no, this is in 7th grade. And they're like, hey, Cynthia, you have a fanny pack. Put our cigarettes in your my lighter in your purse. And I was like, sure. So I put it in there, and then at
The 80s,
lunchtime.
baby.
Oh no, this is the 90s.
Oh,
This
that's
90s.
right. That's right. I forgot.
So this is like
Mhm.
98, 90, no, 97.
That was super popular, man. She was
Yeah.
styling
Yeah.
and
I was
profiling.
styling. So we were in the bathroom, and my friend Clara, she said, hey, I dare you. And I'm like, Debbie, I die. I have to do it. So we got dared to catch the girls' bathroom on fire. So we kind of hung a bunch of toilet paper and topped the ceiling, draped it, and caught
Oh
it on
my
fire.
gosh.
Yeah. So the smoke started rolling out of the bathroom. We walked out and like a dummy.
I wasn't an arsonist.
And what was funny is the bathroom next to the principal's office. So we were thinking, yeah, out of school for a while, right? Anyway,
Girl.
And you did. And you did.
so no, it didn't catch fully on fire, but it was enough to cause the smoke to come out. And then my teacher caught it, and it was next door to the janitor's closet. So they just came over and put it out. And then I got sent off to safe school for 3 days.
Yep.
I was off. I was done away from home by
Yeah,
that.
you were away from home, and see, when this happened, I still got blamed for this, y'all. I still got blamed for this. Somehow I influenced her. Okay. I never burnt no school bathroom down.
So I came home. So the school called Dad. Dad had to leave work, come pick me up because they wouldn't let Mama come and get me. And I was like, oh, rat, right? Because I'm the only one that got caught. I wouldn't go to snitch on the other girls that was doing it with me. I was like, no, I'm not no snitch.
You get stitches.
Exactly.
Right.
So Dad shows up, and the principal tells him what to do. Well, before I got to the car, I got my butt whooped. And then I got to the house, got my butt whooped again. And then I was grounded for 3 months. And And starting the following Monday, because it was on a Friday when I did it, I was in safe school for 3 days, and I had to ride the bad kids bus, and
Yep.
I was so scared because safe school is like a school for
it's a pre-juvie.
it's a pre-juvie. Yeah, exactly. So I got sent there. If I go to the bathroom, I had a pat down. If I came out of the bathroom, I got a pat down. I sat in an 8x8 room with no windows for 3 days with really, really bad kids. And it straightened my butt up. I never done anything after that. I was like, I'm going to be the most best kid in the world. And after that, my grades went up and everything because I was like, all right, this is not the life for me. I don't want to go to jail.
I never got sent off.
She wouldn't have had that jail life.
No. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's like the worst thing I've ever done in school. But yeah.
I never got caught, except for once. And that was it.
I just
That's the
didn't
reason
care
why I
if I
never
got
got
caught.
sent off. What'd you say?
I just never cared if I got caught.
Yeah.
So what did you do, Gina?
What did I not do? I mean, I didn't really start being like mean, I guess, or I guess, getting in trouble or becoming a trouble child until high school. But prior to high school, I mean, when I was between grades, well, kindergarten all the way up to, I would say, 6th grade, I was really quiet. I didn't get into anything bad. I was bullied a lot because, we're the poor kids, and poor kids got the hand-me-downs, and mom made our clothes, so sometimes,
Yep.
it is what it is. But because that I got picked on, and so eventually, however, I learned to stand up for myself, and then I became more like Debbie, where I just
Didn't care
anymore whether or not I was the good kid or not, because there was no reward, I guess, at home for being a good kid. I can make straight A's and I can make straight F's, no difference. So I think the first time I got in trouble was 7th grade. We had this teacher. You guys know him, Mr. Dixon. If you're listening to this, Mr. Dixon, I'm sorry. I'm going to tattle on myself. I was the one. It was me. He used to get this like big mug of coffee every morning. He would go and get a big old mug of coffee, and he would have several throughout the day. And so one of the things I did was that I put chocolate X-Lax in his coffee once. Mixed that up really good.
Oh, Gina, that's so bad.
He had the shits, the runs really bad, like that entire day. He ended up calling in the next day, so we had a sub for the next day. I don't even know to this day if that man ever figured out.
I had him, of course, because 7th, 8th grade, you switch classes.
Yeah.
So there were kids that did a lot of things to that man. I remember
Well, he was mean, man.
I remember
I
somebody.
never done anything that was like that. Mine was just more mischief, man.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the reason why I did it. And again, Mr. Dixon, listen to this. You know what you did, sir. So I'm an artist, right? I love to draw. I've loved to draw all my life. And he gave us an assignment that was like, for in the entire school. It was like a school art contest or whatever. And we had to draw from nature. So I drew this horse because, we're from Kentucky, horses. So I drew this like horse and a pony. And I drew it with pencil because at the time I didn't have anything else other than pencil. But I had some decent, big copy paper or whatever that I got from one of the helpers up at the office. So I drew it on that, brought it into class, and I submitted it. And he looked at it and he said, "You didn't draw this," and handed it back to me. And I was like, what? Yeah, I did. Or there's my name, you know? And he said, no, it's too good. You didn't draw this. And at first, honestly, I just stood there and stared at him because I thought he was kidding me at first. No, he said, I'm not submitting this. You traced it. And I'm like, I didn't trace it. And yeah, and he refused to submit it for me. I know. So after that, I was like, all right, I'll get you. You made an enemy of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, he didn't. The man. No, he would give handouts. We'd get handouts, and that was it.
He
And
sat
he would
with his
sit.
feet up on the table. He set his feet up on the table with his newspaper, picking his
Yeah.
nose and wiping it on his sock.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the city school, not the county school?
Half dirt, half you can see half dirt, half out the window.
Still there?
Actually, no, it burnt.
Oh, is it?
It caught
Oh, maybe
fire.
I'm thinking about the grade school.
That's when I was going to school there. It actually lightning hit it and it caught fire and
I didn't do
burnt.
it. See?
And they had to finish tearing it down.
It was Cynthia. She did it.
Yeah, for real, right? Yeah.
The funniest thing I remember about that school in particular, so a little context without getting too detailed, the county school and the city school were like literally one city block from each other. And there was a rivalry that's been going on for many, many years between these two schools. The funniest thing that ever happened while I was going to school, because I went to the county school, not city school, was when the city school got this brand new, beautiful bronze tiger statue that they put out in front of the school. And brand new. I mean, it was gorgeous. Well, I guess some of the football players at our school decided to go over there in the middle of the night, and they took a hacksaw and they sawed its balls off, and they took its balls for a prize, and then they sprayed on the side of it, you know, our school logo or whatever. So yeah, that was the funniest thing that ever happened. They took the balls of this poor tiger. Well, did you notice if you look at the picture that it ain't got no balls? You know why? I mean, it was literally, they just bought it that year. It was like 97, something like that. They went over with a hacksaw and hacked off its, like, slowly hacked off its balls.
So, do you remember, Gina, when you helped me learn the driving route?
Yeah.
And you was like, hey, parallel park between these two cars in front of the pizza place?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, who do you think was the best driver?
What do you mean?
I'm the best driver.
Like, Lynette.
Like right now? Like, who's the best driver?
No.
Oh, growing up?
Yes.
Probably you.
I don't know, Melissa. All I know is that every time I drove with this woman when I was young, weird shit would happen. Every time. Like,
No, listen, here's the thing. Every time I drove, and I still can do it if I wanted to, I was a little bit of a daredevil driving.
she was.
So, but do you remember in Dad's pickup truck on
Yes.
45 in the wind? It was raining and a semi passed us. The
Uh-huh.
wind fixed the tail end of the truck up. We did a 360, landed in the median,
On a highway.
Mhm.
facing the way that we were actually headed. Yeah, on the
Yeah.
highway.
I was terrified. But here's the thing. The entire time, Melissa was calm as butter, man. She was just like, she's like, hold on, girls. She put that arm over top, to the side of me. I'm like,
She
oh,
first she pushes me into the floorboard. Do you remember that?
Yes.
She first pushes me and tells you to hold tight. Because
Yeah.
I don't think we had seatbelts on. And
We
then,
didn't have seatbelts.
No.
There was no seatbelts.
That's right, it wasn't. And then
No, it was
oh my god.
Dad's old freaking Ford pickup truck.
Do you remember when we pulled into the driveway? There was so much grass and those rust out holes on his truck.
Yep.
And you're like, Dad, before you freak out, you know?
Your truck
Yeah.
is in one piece. It just has some grass in it.
And I looked at Melissa and I was like, she's like, we're alive, we're good. And I'm
We're
like,
alive.
yep.
We're alive, yeah. And
She was cool as butter, man.
And I drove right out of it too.
Yeah,
Just
she was cool as butter. I was like,
Do you remember how you used to? Do you remember how you used to drive through the holler late at
oh my
night?
god.
Turn
My life would flash before my eyes every time I roll with you down that holler.
I would turn the
You
lights
and
off.
Debbie.
Dark.
Debbie scared the crap out of me driving.
You still scared the
She's-
shit out of me when I drive on there.
I said when I would drive the car through the holler, I would turn the headlights off and drive in
Yes.
the dark.
Would.
She would do that on me, and I'm like, what? Stop it.
There would
Stop
even be a moon out, and she would drive in pitch dark, and I'm like, "You're gonna
Yeah.
kill us."
it. She's like, I'll just show you how well I know this road. It'd be jet black. Because, listen,
There's no street light.
listeners.
There's
The
no-
holler that we grew up in, the stars you see at night, you see them all. You see them all. There's no lights. There's no
street-
sidewalk lights. There's no nothing. All right. There's no light pollution there. So she turned that shit off. You don't see nothing. It's
And
pitch
not
black.
just that. When a car would come at you from the other side, you hope to God they don't hit you because there's not much room for you to get over.
No, it's definitely a one person road, really.
At the time,
No.
no line.
It was barely a road. All right,
Mm.
y'all. It had blacktop, but just barely.
It hadn't been blacktop long
just so.
either.
No, it hadn't. But she would be going freaking 60 down this damn road, and she'd be like, "Oh shit!" And I'm like, "Good Lord, we're gonna die."
So that's the one thing I did do also in high school. That I should have got me in a lot of trouble actually, but because I did love to pretty much race cars, but the guy that we had a bunch of guy friends, and back then when we would cruise the town that we lived in,
They used to go cruising like in the 50s. They still did it back in her time and my time. They probably still do it now.
well, not as much as we did.
Really?
No,
Huh.
not like we did, because they try to cut it out. They say kids cause too much trouble. But anyway, because there's nothing to do. There's no theater. There's nothing there for kids to do. But anyway, so it was late, and the guy that we knew had, I can't remember what type of car it was. It was a stick shift. And no, what it
Was it a Camaro?
Or a Mustang?
You're not going to get it. You're
Okay.
not going to get it. It was a foreign type car, is all I can tell you.
Honda Civic.
So he had been drinking. He was drinking, and it was me, a friend of mine, him, and one of his friends, and we weren't double dating. We're just friends. And he's like, I'm hungry, and he's like, hey, let's take off and go to the next city over, because it was by a truck stop, and we're gonna go eat. So they get some more friends. We're going to all meet up and go. So this other guy drives a Mustang, and he's well known to race. And so was the guy that I was driving his car. And so we get on 25, the highway. We're headed down, and he said, the guy in the Mustang comes up beside of me, and we're probably doing about 55 at that point. And he's revving up his motor. He's trying to get me to race him, and he's like, I'm just going to cuss you. And he's like, son of a bitch, you don't let that car pass my car. You don't let him pass my car. And I was like, okay. I was like, but if I get a ticket and I get in trouble, you have to pay it. Damn, I'll pay that ticket. You don't let that car pass my car. And I was like, okay. At one point, I was doing way over 150 miles per hour.
Oh my gosh.
State trooper, where they sat all the time, there was two of them sitting there, and their cars were running. He saw me go. They saw us. I mean, it was just a flash. We were hauling. So it went a couple of days, and he knew, I guess he had talked to people, and they was trying to figure out who was driving the cars. They was investigating it, whatever. He came up to me in town. It went a while, and he looked at me. He goes, so I heard that you were driving that car, and because I can't remember what it was. It was blue. I remember that.
It was a day.
And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, listen, I already know it was you. It's already been confirmed it was you that was driving that car. He said, do you know that I should put you in jail for what you did. I was like, but he told me to do it. I was like, I didn't know. I was like, I'm sorry. I said, I'll never do it again. But yeah,
Wow.
I had it as fast as it'd go. And
Wow.
he would try to get me to go. He would try to get me to go with him into Tennessee to race cars where they did the drag race. But
You missed your calling,
Kilpatrick.
Melissa.
Yeah, Dana DePatrick, she would have had nothing on me. I'm just saying, I would have beat her easily. Just saying.
And
That's
with
cool,
that,
Vic.
we're going to wrap it up for this week. Again, you guys can catch us on all of our socials. Please join up on our Patreon. And look forward to, in the future, we will be having some sponsors coming through. So that's exciting. But yeah, join our Patreon. Look at the goofy after shots and stuff that we post up there. Help us with topics. Ask us some questions that we don't, go into topics here in the show. Yeah, ask us lots of questions.
Yeah.
Leave us some comments. But anyway, we will see you girls and guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.